Good evening. This is the March 28th, 2024 meeting of the Bike Pedestrian Transit Subcommittee. We're going to get the meeting started here at 6:09 p.m. Commissioner Greco, could you please call the roll?
All right. Commissioner Leishman?
Here.
Commissioner Greco? Here. Robert Wagner is not present, but has indicated he will be here soon. Joe Amore?
Here.
All right. Roll call is called. There are no public present.
All right. No public present, so we'll proceed to item 3, amendments to the agenda.
I have none.
I have none.
Okay. Then we'll move on to item 4, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. I have no amendments I would like to make to the minutes. I don't see any other amendments.
Then I will motion that we approve the minutes of the February 22nd, 24 meeting.
Second.
All right. We have a motion to approve the February minutes. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right. The motion passes. And we'll proceed on to item 5, business. So the first item here is 5A, Bike Month, which is upcoming in May. We've got several events planned for Bike Month, but while we're waiting on Commissioner Wagner to arrive, I figured I would start off by talking about Ride of Silence, which is happening on the 15th at 7 p.m. I've reached out to several groups to try to confirm their participation, including the Villa Park Police, who provided us with an escort last year. And I've also reached out to a representative from the Elmhurst Bike Club, and they seemed to be interested in doing the same thing that we did last year, where we had our own ride in Villa Park and then met up with them along the Prairie Path to continue the ride afterwards. And then I also reached out to a representative from Scout Troop 199. They potentially could be interested in participating. And so their meetings are on Mondays at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, I have a prior commitment at that time, but I already spoke with Commissioner Wagner, and he is planning to attend the April 1st meeting of Troop 199 and talk to them about Ride of Silence and see if they might be interested in participating. I know there's some people over there that are very interested in bike safety and bike awareness. So I'm pretty optimistic that we might get a few participants from there.
Just for clarification, you said April 1st.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that'll be the meeting on Monday.
Okay, and what was the time on the Ride of Silence?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Thank you.
Well, at least that's the national date and time. If people have objections, we can of course schedule it for a different time, but I didn't see any reason why it couldn't be that time. Is there any other groups of people that we would like to reach out to about Ride of Silence? I know I personally am pretty interested in having better attendance numbers than we did last year. So I'm open to any suggestions.
Well, I was going to say we should definitely talk it up at the bicycle shop.
Okay.
Get them enthusiastic about that.
Sorry. Hey.
Yes, I was planning on. So some of the action items on Ride of Silence that I haven't proceeded on yet were I want to make a flyer to advertise it, and I was planning on going over to the bike shop and see if they might be willing to display it for us, and of course invite them to participate as well.
Is there already a template for a flyer somewhere?
I don't know. I'll have to do some research. There is like a
There's a website.
there's
that
a
does-
there's a website. It's a little bit dated, but I might so I might have to do something myself. But there might be some resources on there. I'll have to check. Commissioner Wagner, we were just talking about Rite of Silence and groups that we might be interested in inviting. I already informed the rest of the commission that you're planning on attending on April 1st to speak with the scouts.
Yeah, and I did register us on the website.
Oh, on the Rite of Silence website?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Great, thank you.
And I also registered us on the bike walk to school day.
Yeah.
I put myself as, I thought, should I put Fred Lineweber on there? And I thought, he's gonna see that, he said, why am I on this? He's got more better things to do, so I think I can go back in and add somebody, someone for the PTA, but, so.
Sure. Is there anything else we want to talk about for Rite of Silence? Any other groups we might want to invite?
No, I think last year we created a Facebook event page.
Yeah, I was planning on doing that
Okay.
as well.
And maybe some folks like Mark Hayes and I can't think of anybody else, but
Oh, there's that Viking in Illinois and Villa Park group. If they still exist, yeah.
The biking community.
Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I can
So-
when I create an event, I can
Okay.
share it on that page. No problem.
Okay,
We should invite the village. I mean, all of the trustees and
exactly. That's a good point.
and any, the village manager.
And I assume you covered the engine inside.
We have
No,
not.
no.
Okay.
We just skipped ahead.
Okay, gotcha.
Since these items don't have numbers, I decided we're at liberty to go through them in any order. But yeah, let's go back to the first item listed there, which is walk bike to school day.
So I think what we need to do is get with the PTA. So I think it's something that can be organized quickly. In fact, if you've seen on the website, people will organize bike walk to school days within a matter of a week, So it's not gonna take a lot. I'm gonna take off that day, and maybe we could enlist the help of folks from, Elmer Spike Club, because a lot of those folks are, I think are retired, they could probably help out. And then,
You mean in terms of the walking school bus
right, just to be, I don't know,
chaperones?
chaperones or crossing guards or, to be part of wherever the staging area is or the rally point is to kind of be an escort, to the school. So,
So I'm afraid I don't have the PTA's calendar in front of me, so I'm not exactly sure when their next meeting is.
I don't know.
But they should have one in April.
April, exactly, yep.
I guess, do we want to, assuming we're going to meet with them again, I feel like we should probably go into that meeting with a plan of a route, basically,
Right, or routes.
or possibly multiple routes depending on
Right.
the number of volunteers that we have.
Since they've done it before, they'll probably be able to share with us what they did before. So,
Yeah.
and just a little side note, bike safety presentations are going on in the D45 schools in April.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm only doing one of them. I'm doing Ardmore. And I think I'm doing it on April, I'll have to take a look. I think I'm doing it on April 12th. I got it, I got your thing here.
Yeah, that'll be great because that's one of the things that the bike-friendly community people recommended we improve on for next time. So we should definitely keep track of things like that are going on.
I'm doing it on the, doing it on the 17th. I'm doing a bike safety presentation.
Great.
And I kind of wheedled my way into it because Kim Messina did not reach out to me at all. Didn't reach out to Dave Simmons at Ride, Illinois. And I contacted Claudia Garcia and I said, hey, because after when we at the back to school thing that we did at near St. A's, I said I had sent her an email saying when are we going to be involved. She said, oh, I'm going to reach out to Dave Simmons. And then I said earlier in the month I asked her what's going on with the bike safety training presentation. Oh, Kim Messina's doing them, and she's been a rock star, and she's going to do all of them, except we don't have one because she's going to Westmore, and we don't have anyone for Ardmore. I said, well, I'll do it, So, yeah, but I don't want to get too far afield. But I thought, you know what? Kim's got District 45 nailed down. I'm going to reach out to District 44. So, 48, Salt Creek School District. And I sent a message to the person in charge of curriculum. I haven't gotten a response yet, but I'm thinking next year maybe we can do District 48 because there's a lot fewer schools. So,
yeah. And I know the state is working on some. The Board of Education State Board of Education is working on some new recommendations for bike training in school. So hopefully there will be even more demand for this sort of thing going forward. That's great. Anything else we want to discuss on Walk Bike to School Day?
yeah, that's all I've got.
Okay, then let's go to the event on May 9th, the engine and side screening. I
Right.
believe that's scheduled for 6:30
At
p.m.
6:30 p.m. and everything is nailed down. I signed the licensing agreement. The village paid the fee, and they're in touch with Candace, and I can't remember who their person is. I don't remember her first name, but they're going to handle it. Their Ant Hill Productions was okay with the venue, so we're all good to go. Yeah, the venue.
That's good.
And the thing that I was thinking about, and tell me if this sounds wacky, I was thinking, what if we got like a red carpet and a background of bicycles, and people could take their picture. They're going to a premiere,
Yeah,
It's
the
a
Villa Park premiere.
It's a local
yeah.
premiere,
It's the Villa Park premiere of the
Yeah,
engine
why not?
inside.
Why
I mean, I do like the photo op idea for
Yeah,
sure.
we should something. I was thinking I would get some extra bike pins. Those little bike pins.
Oh yeah, I love those.
And everyone who comes, would give it, or the first 20 people get a bike pin. I don't know, just to kind of pump up the excitement, or
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really looking
If
forward.
we're
to
gonna
it.
do the red carpet, we should have like bicycle celebrities, like the bike club, come in a full fancy kit,
Right,
and
right.
do the pose with the paparazzi.
Or if you ride your bike to the premiere, you
Oh.
get a bike pin or something like that.
Yeah, that'll be great. Would you like any help with marketing this event?
I think that kind of Candace said we're going to handle that.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have a person who, kind of their version of a public information officer.
Okay.
Candace is the library.
Candace is, I'm going to call her the deputy director, or the
Oh, here.
Candace
Okay.
Kreitler,
Okay.
at the library. Yeah, she's Sandy's second in command.
Okay, but we probably should get a flyer up at the bike shop
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
about the.
And if you go to the link that there's all kinds of pre-done posters where you just with a field on the bottom where you put in the date, and I wasn't smart. I was kind of monkeying around with it. I wasn't smart enough to get it to be able to change the field.
You could always print it and handwrite it. No, it doesn't look as
Yeah.
good, but it's one way to do it.
Yeah.
So
It gets the point across.
So would we like a flyer for this screening as well?
For the what?
For the movie screening?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I
I
can.
mean, I'm gonna put it, like in Starbucks and
Larry's.
yeah, all over the place. I mean,
Kiosks. Like,
Oh yeah, the
kiosks.
kiosks.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
kiosks.
Freight Path kiosks.
Yep.
if you would like, I can make that flyer.
Okay.
While I'm making the Rite of Silence flyer as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's there. If you go to, well, I'll send you the email.
Yeah.
If you go to the link, it's on. They have all these documents on Dropbox.
Oh, some assets, some graphic assets.
Yeah, that's what they call them. Yeah, they're
Nice.
They're all there.
Cool. That'll make it a lot easier.
Yeah, I can click on the field and it kind of highlights it, but then I'm not able to change the date. But yeah, so
I'll see what I can figure out.
there was an error between my fingers and the keyboard.
Okay. Anything else on the movie screening?
Nope.
Okay. Then the last event we have scheduled so far is the Smart Cycling class on the 11th.
Right, and I got updated flyers, and I have been distributing them.
Was there an issue?
Oh, yeah,
with
the date
first
was
flyer?
wrong.
Yeah, the first one had the wrong year.
Oh,
It was Mary Ann spotted, it was 2022, whatever.
that's frustrating.
But
Yeah, I just threw mine away today.
here
I was
again,
cleaning out some stuff.
I reached out to Claudia Garcia, and I said, hey, I'd like to help with the, bike safety presentations. By the way, we're doing walk and bike we're working with North School on walk bike to work, and we're also doing this. And she said, oh, you could put this in our virtual backpack. It's like I had to put Parks and Rec put the disclaimer on here, it's not sponsored, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a verbiage. And so we uploaded it to in addition to being at all the kiosks, it's at the library, this is at JNR, it's at a few other places, Villa Perk. They're uploading it to what they call their virtual backpack, so all the students will get one. Or they'll have access to the flyer,
That's
they'll be able
great.
to see the flyer.
Now, is the virtual backpack the Parks and Rec department? I missed it.
No, that's District 45.
Oh,
So if they want to alert students to some opportunities, you can upload it to the virtual, they call it the virtual backpack.
okay. It's just a glorified announcement board. Okay, yeah.
It's right, it's a glorified bulletin board, but you had to put a little disclaimer on the bottom.
Oh, that the D45 is not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Parks and Rec did that for me, and then we got it uploaded to the backpack. So
Cool.
if you know any place you want to put it that's not already there, please take them. And I could send the electronic copy if you want.
Cool. Great, and I think last time we talked about this, you were looking for some adult volunteers to help out with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go scope out the parking lot at Jefferson, and I'm gonna mark off where the different courses are gonna be. And so that we're ready to go on May 11th. So it's
I should be able to help out with that.
okay. Yeah, I've done this enough that I have the whole outline. Joe has helped, Mary Ann's helped, we've had other people, Mark has helped, so.
Cool.
And it was posted on our Villa Park bicycling community.
Sure. Okay, the last thing under Bike Month that I had was just additional events. This was a carryover from last month. I think it's a little bit late to add anything more to our docket for Bike Month, but I wanted to leave it open in case anyone had any last minute brilliant ideas.
They'd have to be pretty good because I think this is more than we've accomplished in the past,
Yep.
and I feel like with our resources, this is a good start.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement there.
I think it would be nice to, since you are the great flyer producer, if you wanted to do something with all the activities on I don't want to overload you.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can do something simple. I mean, wouldn't be that hard to, it won't look as nice, but it'll be just something that's at Bike Month activities, whatever.
Well, we should certainly promote the Rite of Silence at the engine inside.
Yes, that's good.
Hand
Yeah.
out flyers for Rite of Silence
And-
at the engine inside.
And we should promote the smart cycling class during the walk to school day.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of getting this to,
A non-virtual backpack.
right, a non-virtual backpack. I'm gonna distribute this at Ardmore, and I'm gonna get some to Kim Messina and ask her to distribute them as well, so.
Cool. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to item 5B, which is the bike-friendly community report card. I did print out copies of the report card for anyone that needs it.
I got a copy as well.
It's kind of a lengthy document, but
I of course left my folder at home. I think I have it, but
just the last couple pages of this guy.
oh, thank you.
Now you're talking about the 7
Oh yeah,
page.
they're printed already. I might as well take it.
It's not 7 pages, it's actually, it printed 7, but my agenda was 1 and 2.
Okay. Oh, I got it here.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things that they measured in here, but probably the section that I found most. Bob, would you like a copy?
I have one.
Okay, sorry, I thought that's what you're looking for. The section that I found the most interesting and hopefully the most useful was the feedback to improve, which is the last couple pages. And that seems to be like advice that is at least somewhat tailored to us based on things that we are weaker on in our application. So there's a lot listed there. I don't expect you all to read through all of it right now. But I did want to highlight a couple that I thought were particularly relevant in that they are things that we could probably largely accomplish ourselves, as well as accomplish without a large investment of money from the village. And so the first one that I thought was worth discussing was the third item on here, which starts with as part of Villa Park's 2023 bike-friendly community application, the village did not submit a bicycle network worksheet.
Yeah.
Commissioner Wagner?
Yeah, that was my error. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't upload the right thing.
That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
But there was something, in our prior submission, there was something.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And I'm not highlighting this to say we did anything wrong. These are things that I think we can improve on the next time that we're applying, and that's an easy thing to correct for next time. And then the next thing that I thought was pretty interesting, which is actually the next bullet point here, is basically introducing this idea of a bike parking ordinance, which is saying that any new construction within the village has to, not only meet the mandatory automobile parking ordinances, but also have some minimum accommodations for bicycles as well. And I think that could be a great thing for us to bring to the board. Yes,
So I was on the TOD steering committee or whatever. This is several years ago, and as part of the TOD, Trans-Oriented Development around the train station, any new development is required to have a certain amount of bike parking. But we don't have it village-wide.
Okay. Well, that's good to know that that idea has already been at least brought before Public Works.
In some form,
In
right?
some form, yeah.
But in that regard, Commissioner Mori, the bicycle racks, were they finally all distributed, and have we got a record of the locations? Because that would be tied into that.
I'm pretty certain they've all been deployed. I know we followed up a couple times with Brian Roach about that.
All I ever saw was the list of proposed sites. I never saw any confirmation that they actually got installed at those locations.
Well, maybe we can follow up on that. I wasn't. So was this just a lump of bike racks that the village purchased at one point in time?
It was a grant they
It was a
got,
grant
and they
that
got
we got.
30
Took forever to
bike
get,
racks.
took forever to get, and we finally got them.
Okay.
And then they deployed them. And then there's a page on the village's website about the bike racks.
I'll have to look.
But
at
it just says proposed. It never
Right,
doesn't
right,
say
exactly.
when or where or yeah.
And Commissioner Mori, they were also deployed piecemeal.
Sure.
Here's some showed up here, and some
Yeah.
showed up there, but we never really got a complete.
Well, we never
Oh,
got
yeah.
a list of where they got
Yeah.
installed. I can understand scheduling it when they were doing, not doing it all at once. I understand that, but it would have been nice to have a list and a checkbox, or something. Yeah.
Just a little side note, Stephanie Barias, who works in community development and is a planner, she's coming to the ECC meeting this evening to talk about no mow May.
Great.
So we could probably ask her about, because she had some input about our question about, front yards and how
Sure.
they can be landscaped, et cetera. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Were there any more recommendations you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, there were a couple that I thought were pretty pertinent. The next one is a couple after that. It basically just they recommend increasing the number of LCIs that we have in our community. I think that could be another great thing for us to look into.
So we should promote that at all our events too. Say, hey, there's this thing you should look into it if you're
Yeah.
interested in biking.
It's a little bit hard for me to recommend that for the general public because there is a substantial cost associated with that.
Well,
It's
just
like-
making people aware that it exists.
Sure.
So anybody who's interested.
I'm sorry, I missed what,
Oh, I said we should definitely let people, at all of our events, we should let people know it exists.
Yeah.
Not, you're right, it is a substantial investment of time and money, but
Yeah.
someone who is interested might not know about it.
Sure. Yeah, maybe we can keep an eye out for people that are already sort of bicycle leaders in our community. And
and there will be, this summer, there'll be an LCI training in Normal.
okay.
So whoever wants to.
Did you have any other ideas on how to make that happen?
My understanding is that the commission has paid for commissioners to get that certification in the past. Is that correct?
They paid for, I requested it and I paid for it, and then they paid for it. And the agreement was that I would do 2 bike safety trainings.
Sure.
And this May will be the 3rd. So, yeah.
So that's obviously, not really a model that we can use to get dozens of people
Right.
in our community to be
Yeah.
LCIs, but it is something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that one would be people who are already bicycle leaders, maybe
Yeah.
promote that, yeah.
Okay, another one that I thought was especially applicable to Villa Park in particular is the one right after that, which is talking about making sure that our outreach is also trying to serve senior citizens as well as non-English speakers in the community, which I think Villa Park has pretty sizable communities of both of those.
Oh, yes.
So I think that's something good for us to just kind of keep in mind. Maybe we want to look into, the communication that we put out as a commission, a subcommittee. Maybe we do that bilingual as well. My Spanish is not fantastic, but maybe we can find someone that would be willing to help us translate things. And in terms of senior citizens, I think we floated this idea before of having like a slow rollers bike club within the community. But I'm not suggesting we take action on any of these things tonight. It was just useful things that I noticed as I was reading through this. You have a question, Commissioner Wagner?
Commissioner Wagner, I don't have a question, I have a comment. So in terms of the feedback, what I was looking at was where we have feedback and we have implementation goals from the bike pedestrian plan. And the one that kind of stood out to me was it's the 1, 2, 3, the fifth one, install a bicycle wayfinding system with distance and destination information. That's on our bike and ped plan. And before she was gonna leave, we were talking with Jan Fiola
Yeah.
about what they would look like, where they would go, et cetera. So that would be a great goal, something for us to say to the village, we'd like to see you put this in the next year's budget.
Yeah. Along those lines, there's another item in here about not just having like a bicycle master plan, but also making sure that there is an item in the budget dedicated to going towards the master plan. And the wayfinding signage I thought would be a great application of that. Even if we can only get, say $2,000 in the budget a year or something like that, that might be enough to put in a sign or two. Commissioner Amore?
So, in that same regard, with the construction of the Tri-Trail Connector, I think that would be a good opportunity to add that on to their project, project, because they're gonna wanna produce signs to direct people onto that and off of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
I was walking through there the other day, and it's not the most intuitive route.
Yeah.
So some signage would definitely be beneficial.
I would like to say, when we discussed the signage before, they are able to make signs in-house.
Great.
So the budget item can be quite low.
Even better.
Yeah, and one more thing,
We just have to decide on consistency, so we have consistent branding throughout the village and all the signs.
we did discuss previously that we would like to go back to the bike master plan. And a lot of that is interwoven with what the feedback is. So we really should consider that as a item that would to prioritize now that we've gotten the feedback.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, which item did you want to prioritize?
Well,
I was typing.
we had previously discussed going over the 2018 master plan and determining what implementations have been made, what other things could be, still need to be done and work out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
what you're saying is you want to prioritize going over the master plan?
Right, and
Okay.
incorporate the feedback at the same time.
And I agree 100%. Kind of the strategy that I was thinking here is, we go through this list of recommendations that the league is making, and then we can, cross-reference those with specific things that we identified in the master plan, and then that's basically 2 data points that we can go to the board of trustees with.
Right.
Here's something that we thought in 2018 should be done, and still in 2024 the league thinks should be
Yeah.
done.
But
So
we
now
didn't do the master plan. It was that.
Sure,
That was a.
Yeah,
You were on the board then.
Mary Ann and
I was
were-
on it, yeah.
Yeah. That was expensed
I had more
by
energy
a
then.
separate. Who was the entity that created that? Was it the same?
Active transportation lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, hugely respected organization,
Right, right.
and this is too. So what you're saying, we've got 2 very highly respected organizations saying
Right.
this needs to be done, and it still needs to be done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, when I said we before, I didn't mean the BPT. I meant
Right.
we as a community decided that this should be done back in
Correct.
2018.
And incorporating our advisory role,
Yeah.
we can say, we've got this group created the plan. This group showed our shortcomings and improvements. And so we've gone over everything, and this is what our recommendations still need to be done, because it doesn't seem like anybody's following up.
Well, yeah. So I plan to. I'll be adding the master plan to a review of the master plan to the agenda for one of our upcoming meetings.
Yeah.
So we can do that sort of cross reference. Commissioner Wagner.
Yeah, Commissioner Wagner, I think that this would almost merit, and I hate to have a special meeting, but it's almost would be almost better to have a special meeting devoted strictly to this.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that as well.
I
And maybe
kind of
have-
like that idea. So then we're not under time
Right,
constraints.
and maybe we could ask, Public Works Director to join us, to give us feedback and.
I know we
That would be, I think, difficult for the special meeting.
I know we're not thrilled about the concept of doing an additional event in Bike Month, but does this feel like a relevant special meeting to do in the month of May?
Oh, are you thinking of inviting the public, or what, if it's
Well,
just us, we
it's-
can do it anytime?
Yeah, public is always welcome.
Public is always welcome at our meetings.
Would this be an official meeting, or would this be a working meeting, like we've agreed to do something, so do we have to invite the public? Because it's more like research than really a meeting.
Well,
And then we can bring our recommendations to the next meeting to make them public.
I think if you were developing a program, like when they were gonna do that Route 83 project, and they had a special meeting for the public twice to get public input on something that they wanted to implement. The plan has already been devised. It would be more of a working group with the public invited to see what they would like prioritized.
Well, I'm not saying we can't invite the public, and I don't think there's any harm in it because nobody ever comes anyway. But I'm just saying, I just think as a matter of policy, we could structure it in a way that we don't have to invite the public if we feel like we can be more productive. As long as we're very transparent about our conclusions at one of our public meetings. But anyway, I mean, that's it. I think we're spending too much time on this point. Of course, the public can come.
Yeah.
And it can be any time. Bike month might
Yes.
generate a little more public interest because we've got all this publicity about bicycling.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll start looking into dates for that. Then the last recommendation here that I was kind of surprised by was, of course, they're encouraging us to. Currently, we have no quote unquote bike friendly businesses within town. And so they're encouraging us to get more of those. But specifically, they mentioned that even Village Hall and the library can be registered as bike friendly businesses.
I'm surprised the library isn't.
Or they can apply for it. And so I thought it might be good for us to encourage the those organizations to apply for that.
This is Commissioner Wagner. So I went to the
bike
Economic
shop.
Development Commission on a few occasions just to push this, to say, why don't you budget some money to cover the application fee, the $50.
Yeah.
And Tony Odo, who is the chairperson, said, okay, we'll put that in our budget. And he thought, and I thought that it was in the budget, and I announced it at the Traffic and Safety Commission, and then I was told, no, it's not in the budget. Hey Stephanie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hello,
This is bike, pedestrian, and transit.
Yeah.
I'll just sit in.
She wants
Okay.
to- Yeah.
thanks.
Do I need to list her as public?
So
Sure.
we're talking about this, we're talking about the bike-friendly community application.
Can I get your name?
Stephanie,
Oh.
P-H-A-N-I.
And we're talking about how
Last
to
name,
encourage businesses
B-A-R-A-J-A-S.
to apply to become bike-friendly
Okay, thank you.
businesses.
Got it. Cool.
Would the metro station be considered, or is that
What's that?
the metro station?
It's a bike-friendly
It's,
business.
no, it has to be, it's not a
Well,
business.
but no, but we own the parking lot. The village owns the parking lot, the bike tracks are in the parking lot.
So Village Hall could be, I suppose the Metro parking lot could be considered a.
So in order to be considered a bike-friendly business, you have to have certain policies in place. You have to have bike parking, and I'm gonna think one particular, Chrisburg Engineering, which is in Rosemont. They have bike parking, they provide some sort of subsidy for their employees that bike to work.
Oh, cool.
So there's a bunch of little criteria
Right.
that'll make you a bike-friendly business. And I did speak to Sandy about that, because I thought the library would be it's a great opportunity to become a bike-friendly business, but
I love the idea and I think that we should look into it and see if it's possible. I don't think so because of the nature of it, but I think it's worth looking into because if
The
it
items,
is.
yeah, we just have to find
Yeah.
out what items they have to have. to
Yeah,
be
I
required.
think we just need to. Before the next meeting, I need to look into what the regulations of what is a business in this
And,
case.
yeah,
because
and then-
I didn't expect that a library or village hall could be counted. That's why I wanted to
it would
bring
be the
here.
village itself,
Yeah.
could be the village government could be a bike-friendly
Sure.
organization, or,
All right. So those were the key points that I noticed in the report card. Is there anything else that people wanted to discuss?
No, we'll review them and bring ideas to the next.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds great.
Thank you for doing that. That was
Yeah.
very insightful.
Then next item on our agenda is item 5C, Golden Shovel retrospective.
I gotta say, I mean, I got sick and kind of dropped the ball on it, but it was a very frustrating experience trying to
Yeah.
get the survey done and then I got the link, but I still couldn't edit it and I requested edit access and never heard back after several weeks. I did check email, the BPT email, not environmental concerns, and never saw any feedback from the survey, so I'm not sure if anybody.
We had one response.
Oh,
We had one nomination on the form. The nomination was for the village's ground staff. So
and who nominated them?
it was. I'm sorry, I don't remember their name.
all right.
But it might have been a member of staff. I'm not sure.
Well, of course it was. Yeah.
But so on that specific front, I was kind of figured that we as a subcommittee might send a thank you note to like Public Works regarding their great work during the winter. It feels a little bit weird to me to like actually send them like the golden shovel certificate like we were planning on doing it feels like a bit like the village patting itself on the back.
Right.
So, but I'm perfectly fine sending like a thank you note over their way.
And you can reference the Golden Shovel nomination.
Yes,
and-
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree with that.
So that's what I was planning on doing for that specific nomination. Regarding the potential Golden Shovel programs in the future, there were a couple things that were largely out of our control. And so kind of my takeaways were that, I think we need to get in contact with village staff pretty early in the fall to make it clear this is something that we want to do.
Yeah. I'm also thinking maybe even a sit down, like spend an hour developing the survey.
Yeah.
Actually make an appointment with someone and just get it done.
Yeah.
Instead of the back and forth. And then I realized we had some staff changes and there were some
Yeah.
things that slowed it down. But I think an hour of someone's time, if you have the survey fleshed out and everything, an hour of someone's time could get control in our hands, and that would minimize staff time as well. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's I'm still glad that we did it this year. We wouldn't have learned these lessons if we hadn't tried it the first time. If we decide to do it again in the winter of 25, then we'll reach out to staff earlier, and we'll also I think kind of a good strategy would be, we meet with a member of staff that'll be taking care of it in person, like you mentioned, so we can, kind of flesh out expectations, and then hopefully we could not only like market it early in the winter, but also every time that there's like snowfall, just barrage people with it. Because I talked with people in the community that were very excited about the program, and they thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
But then they didn't nominate anyone, so.
It got off to a late start.
Yeah.
We didn't get a lot of snowfall, and so okay. Perfect.
Commissioner Amori,
Yeah.
did you have a question?
Well, I just wanted to say, do you want to just put it back on the agenda for September? So that we could start working for it, and that way it won't get lost in
Yeah, I can do
the
that.
haze of summer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Because I've read, I can't speak specifically
We have 4
right now,
minutes.
but other communities have these types of programs.
Oh, good.
Yeah, part of my research was looking at what other communities did. What was interesting is the ones I found, a lot of times they gave it up after a year or two, which, it could have been lack of participation or.
Yeah.
Some of them have a different bent on it, they have like an adopt a senior program where.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Something
Yeah.
like that, where you know of a neighbor who needs help and you commit to making sure you
Yeah.
help that neighbor,
There was a radio spot, and I can't remember the name of the community, but they have, could have been Bolingbrook. They call them something like Shovel Angels. And it's like a teams of people who help specific people, like seniors,
Sure.
who can't get out and shovel their own walks.
Right.
So that could be another aspect of, the
Yeah.
Golden Shovel program.
For sure.
Let's get the simple
Yeah, there you go.
version
You're right.
first.
You're right.
We had
you're
all
right.
this trouble getting this simple
Right.
version off the ground.
You're right.
Once we get that fleshed out, then we can start adding this.
Okay.
And if it gets people excited, they may create their own
Yeah.
shovel angels.
Once we've got 200 people in the village that are all fighting for the Golden Shovel Award,
Exactly, right.
then
Yeah.
they'll be shoveling every driveway they can see.
Right, exactly.
They'll be shoveling the street
Okay, we now have 2 minutes.
right out the end.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all we need to talk about snow shoveling for this season. So let's go ahead and move on to item 5D, bikes on Metra. Commissioner Amore, you requested this.
Yeah, I'll be brief. I brought a newspaper article that was in the Herald a week or so ago, and basically Metra has enhanced their COVID era policy. Bikes are gonna be allowed on trains at all times now, not just, non-rush hour trains. They're adapting coaches to have be more as a bicycle boxcar than anything else, and they're developing racks, and it's an ongoing process, because the cars need to be rehabbed, and then they have to be repainted and redesigned, but you're using existing equipment. So that's that. So the article's there, if anybody wants to read it, take it home.
Okay, cool.
And I think didn't you sit on, there was a Metra, like, I'm gonna call it a focus group, it was a Zoom meeting.
I wasn't a part of that.
I
yes,
participated in one.
I think that's largely what this article is about. It says cyclists speak out and Metra listens.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So I sat in on one of them. There may have been others, but anyways.
Cool. That's very exciting to hear. Then item 5E, update from the DuPage Rail Safety Council.
Okay, Commissioner Maury, the highlight of this month's meeting, I should say, was that I had asked Manager Harline to join us. He gets an invitation every month, but I wanted him to speak because the newly developed Village 988 suicide and crisis prevention hotlines are starting to appear. And so I asked him if he would speak on that, and he did. But then he expanded out, and I'm not saying, this is not speaking out of school, because it was a meeting attended by a lot of railroad professionals, and he spoke at length about the Great Separation Project, and how they're kind of at a pause with the Ecoterra situation, that it would be hard to design an underpass, say if they were to consider an underpass at Ardmore, it actually is gonna work to their benefit now that the Ecoterra is on hold, so that a new occupant might design a building that would incorporate that into the plan. So he was very comfortable about speaking about it. There was like 25 people in the Zoom meeting, and so when I get the minutes of that, I'll be able to expand from that. But he was very candid about it, and that's. And then of course, I've been talking to village manager, and not the manager, but village staff about this Croy Railway Group that's also a member of the DuPage Rail Safety Council, because, as I've said before, the data that CDM Smith is using in their feasibility study is from 2018. And I'm trying to get them to go with someone. It doesn't have to be that group, it could be anyone who can give them current data. But that will best enhance the project when it's when it's suggested. So that's all I got for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Item 5F, community outreach. Anything else we want to discuss?
I think in May we'll be doing a lot of community outreach.
Yes,
Yes, we
yes. Okay, I'm gonna put no discussion then.
All right, let's go on to item 6, commissioner comments. Commissioner Wagner?
Really quickly, I had, this is a while back, I had brought to the commission a thing about walk audits. This is an AARP program, and I had sat in on a webinar on this. It was a great program. Well, lo and behold, the league did a program with AARP, bike audit toolkits. And I thought, it was so fascinating, and I thought, and there's all kinds of different checklists or something like parking, how to look at, a intersection. And I thought this would be great, since we are gonna get this STP funding for Ardmore. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Ardmore. I'm gonna rename it Joe. I thought, a bike audit on Ardmore would be great. So I had a meeting with Kevin Mantles, Rich Salerno, and Mike Guerra, and I gave them a copy of this, I gave them all the different documents, the different checklists or things that you can, and so they're gonna look at it. I thought, I said, my question was, would this be beneficial? Because a lot of what we do, a lot of what the engineers do when they're doing public input is, we'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard back from them, but I'm gonna follow up, so.
Great.
Excellent.
But I can send you a link to the bike, it's easy to find.
Yeah.
It's on the league's YouTube channel,
Cool. Thank you.
and that's all I've got.
Commissioner Greco?
Okay. I know it's been an ongoing issue. I happened to take the train downtown on Tuesday, and the station was open. The bathrooms were open. It was during the day. It wasn't at night, but and there was a Metro police officer there. He's just making the rounds to all the stations. He was passing out cards saying if you see something, but just the fact that it was open and I could use the bathroom, it was a wonderful thing.
Great.
And then nope, I already talked about that. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Mori?
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna mention that too, that the locks are off the doors. I have not yet been inside because when I go over there, the locks are time released, so when I go there, it's usually closed. And previously, Public Works had wanted the building only open Monday through Friday from the first train in the morning till about 1 in the afternoon, so that should be available fine. The 988 signs, as I mentioned, are going up slowly, but they are going up. In regard to the train station on Beverly, which is on the north side of the train station that comes into the parking lot, it's the next block east of Ardmore. When they were doing the Ecoterra and created that new parking area adjacent to our current parking lot, they pulled out the sidewalk on the east side of the street and never put it back. So it's just gravel there. I brought it to Public Works' attention, so they know about it. Hopefully they'll replace it. And then finally, I'd like to know if, I'm not sure exactly when Tri-Trail is going to be back, construction's going to start up again. It should be starting up already. But maybe we could have a recurring agenda item to get status upgrades so when they decide to open it, it won't be a surprise.
I'm sure there'll be a ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
That's my guess. And hopefully we'll be invited to the ribbon cutting.
That's all I got. Thanks.
Yeah, I can add that to the agenda going forward.
Now, who have we talked to about the wayfinding signs if we decide? I mean, is there an entity? Because I know that
I would say Public Works.
but like Salt Creek Trail is county, so do we have to get the county's permission to put a wayfinding sign on there?
There are certain standards for the wayfaring signs.
Yeah, so if we are going to be adding signage that is like specific to the trails that run through town, the county has standards that they want met to that.
The ferry path is there, so I'm sorry.
But like in my mind, I think like signage that could be. I don't expect that there are many people that are riding their bike through Villa Park that do not know where the trails are. In my mind, the signage will be more beneficial directing people off of the trails towards businesses and municipal sites.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And that obviously we should just be able to do in the house. So yeah.
And just a side note, you probably all know that Sidney Kenyon is no longer the trail coordinator for the county.
No.
He
I
left
did not know that.
Oh,
a couple
no.
of months ago. He's now the Schaumburg Transportation Director or something, I don't know.
So do we have is there a county coordinator? Did they replace him?
I don't know if they replaced him yet or not.
I can
And if
find out.
It's too bad. He was
I got
great.
one more thing, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So I took Pace Bus 301 this morning.
301 or 313?
301, that
Okay.
goes down Roosevelt Road. And a little confusing because the bus comes around the corner and goes south on Ardmore towards Brandywine. I thought, why is he going there? Is he gonna turn around? Because I was on my bus tracker to see when the bus was coming. So I ran over there, I took my Ventricart, and I leap, and I go, you're westbound. No, I'm eastbound. What? Okay. So I wasted a fare. and I hightailed it back to the thing, but I eventually the bus came when the bus tracker said it was coming. But it was a little confusing, and it made me look at the Pace Bus 301's route, and it kind of, goes around and.
Right, it goes
yeah.
on Butterfield, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes down Butterfield.
To Summit. I think it goes down
Yeah,
to Summit.
it makes several detours, so it was interesting.
Yeah, that's important information that we should probably address at some point.
Yeah.
And either get.
And when
them
I got
to-
off at Finley and Roosevelt, here's the bus stop in the middle of a grassy area with bushes, no sidewalk. Just a goat trail where people try and get to the bus stop.
Jeez.
So, not great, not great.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay, I don't have any comments this evening, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that was Bob first and Joe second.
Correct. All right, and that will do it for our meeting.